Hello, fellow Sudokans, and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku Puzzle. It's Tuesday, the 6th of September 2022. And if you're a newcomer to Sudoku, welcome, because beginners can usually play the game on Tuesday. It's called a medium level game, but it's usually an easy level game. We have yet to see if that will be true, but based on past experience, I would say that it's probably 80 or 90% likely to be an easy level game. What's happening with me today? Well, I'm going to have to go out and take my old jalopy for its vehicle inspection test and get some new road tax, because I just noticed their tax runs out tomorrow. Sometimes I forget. It doesn't matter if you forget. I think that you get some forgiveness time, at least a couple of weeks or something. But since I actually noticed it this time, I'd better go out and do it, I guess. Let's hope my old car passes the inspection test. It should. I haven't driven it. I've hardly driven it for a year, so it shouldn't be much change from last year, hopefully. The cost of owning a vehicle in Thailand is very high. I don't just mean about the cost of petrol, which has gone up, which has doubled, well, gone down again a bit, I suppose, but basically doubled from what it was, say, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something like that. The insurance is definitely much lower, though, than in the UK. Much cheaper to get insurance than it is in the UK. But the cost of the vehicles are still high. They used to be even higher. They used to be around 3 times what you would pay. So if you paid, say £20,000 for a car in the UK, you used to pay 60,000 for the same vehicle in Thailand. And we have a lot of supercars here in Bangkok, Ferraris and Lamborghinis, so that'll give you an idea about how rich the super rich are here. Where cars cost in millions of dollars sometimes, that's how outrageous it is. But over the last few years, we have actually got our own vehicle assembly and plants here, and so those are subject to much lower tax, much lower tax, and so vehicles have become cheaper in the time I've been living here, which is over 30 years, hugely cheaper, since we now have a local vehicle assembly industry. Right, anyway, so that's me for today. Let's get on with the game of Sudoku. So a quick explanation for beginners. We have squares in rows across like this, 9 of them. We have squares in columns down like this, 9 of them. And we put our digits, I don't mean our fingers or toes, I mean digits 1 to 9 in each of these squares. We also do the same thing in these small boxes of 3 by 3. Each number can appear once only, cannot be repeated, and basically that's how we find the answer. So for example, we look at this block down here and we say to ourselves, do we see a 2 in this block? And we don't say this randomly, we say because we've got an idea. And the answer is no, there is no 2, there's only a 1, 5 and an 8. But when we examine the surrounding 2's, we see that there's a 2 in this column already, and it cannot reappear in this column. And there's a 2 in this row and cannot reappear in this row, and there's a 2 in this row and cannot reappear here. So that means these squares are already occupied, right? 5, 1 and 8. That's just one empty square which is not affected by intersecting 2's, and so we know that the 2 must fit into that square there. Got the idea now? Phew, good, I'm glad, because I'm getting tired just explaining it. One block's down here, blocks across here. The same idea. I use the term blocking, meaning preventing that number from reappearing. Okay, so then the 1 appears in that square there. Right, now we're ready to play our medium level game. I've seen something which is a bit more advanced, but I don't want to tell you about that since I don't want to put off any beginners. So 4 is blocking down here like this. That will give us a 4 in that square there. Five blocking up here and up here, so that puts a 5 into that square there. Now, beginner, dear beginner, can you find a 5 in this block here? Go on. Okay, well done. Yes, there are 5 blocks across here and up here, so that has got to be our 5. Right, now down here, can we find a 5? We don't have a 5 in these squares yet. There are 4 empty squares. We're looking for 5, like looking for Lord Lucan, but much less elusive. 5 blocks down here. Ooh, I'll make it to the bottom. 5 blocks down here, and this will be our 5. We have a 6 blocking these 2 squares down here. That gives us a 6 into this square here. We take that 6 blocking across and 6 across this row. That's going to give us a 6 here. Don't forget, you have to play these games yourself, right? No good just watching the videos. You have to practically try them and see if you want to improve. It's a game of doing. You can watch the videos, please do. I'm very glad that you do, but don't forget, you really need to practice them as well. Try the games out as well. Do you know, I'm just looking for a 9, and I don't think there are any 9s on the board. I was just thinking that we got missing 3 and 9 at the ends of this row here, and I saw the 3, and I'm looking for the 9, and I can't see any 9s. Well, how about that? No 9s. Well, well, well. So maybe they're making this particular Tuesday puzzle more difficult than usual for a medium game. Let's find out, shall we? Okay, 9 has to appear in one of these 2 squares. 8 and 9 appear in these 2 squares, right? So that means up here we don't have 8 or 9. We have the other 2 necessary for this column. 8 and 9 are here. Okay, so yeah, so we've got 3 blocking up here and 3 blocking up here, so that will put a 3 into this square. Now this is going to have to be a 2, because remember, we've got 8 and 9 here. So when we look at the rest of this column, right, there's only one number missing from the rest. We've got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 are here, so this has got to be a 2. Okay, now in this row we don't yet have a 7, but this 7 blocks this square and this 7 blocks this square, so we know that the 7 must fit here. And I know this has got to be 8 or 9. I know that because I know that these are 8 or 9, and that is, in terms of logic, this is going to have to be 8 or 9 as well. Right. But we haven't got any 9s yet. Wow. That's quite interesting for a Tuesday medium level game. Sometimes the Wednesday medium level games are quite a bit harder, but unusual for a Tuesday, I think. So if you are a beginner, have heart, be brave, don't worry, we will get there, even if it's going to take us longer than normal. We have 7 blocking down this column here. That's going to put a 7 into that square there. Okay, this column here does not yet contain a 4, but this 4 is going to block all of these 3 squares, because remember, a number can appear in its block only once. So we know that the 4 appears there. Now, there are 3 missing numbers here. The missing numbers are 2, 7, and 9. And now we can see that the 2 and the 7 are in this row. So when we look at this square, we ask ourselves, can it be 2? Clearly no. Can it be 7? No. So we get our first digit 9. That's the first digit 9 that we have placed. Now the missing digits in this column here are in fact 8 and 9, and we can see an intersecting 8 here, so we know that the 8 goes in that square, and now our second 9 appears here. So we're gradually getting some 9s, even though they weren't generous enough to give us any at the beginning. This particular row does not yet contain a 4, but the 4 stops here, the 4 stops here, the buck stops there, 4 goes there. Now 4 blocking across here and 4 blocking up here and across here gives us a 4 in that square there. Two missing digits in this row are 1 and 3. This 3 means that this can't be a 3, so the 3 appears here and the 1 appears here. This 8 blocks across the top row, and now that gives us just one option. 8 must appear here. And the missing numbers up here now are 7 and 9. We can't get them, but we know that 7 and 9 are there. This 1 blocks across here, so 1 goes here. Now we can get this because we know that this is 7 and 9. And so to complete this row, this has got to be a 6. And now the final digit to go here is a 2. So we're making good progress now, I think. Missing numbers here are 6 and 9, but we can't get them yet, so we hold off on that. And in fact, it's time to turn our attention away from this top chute because we can't do any more up there, so it's time to look somewhere else down here, of course, probably across the middle here. This is a very empty, barren area. Look, a desert where we have no oases of numbers. So we are going to find that slightly more difficult. Let's look at where we have a few more digits first of all. Let's focus our attention down here. We have 1, 2, we don't have 3, we don't have 7, we don't have 9. But that's not going to help us just yet. How about up here? I tell you what, let's click on the digits and see if that gives us anything at greater speed. No. Well, I'm going to suggest that today's game is beyond the level of the usual Tuesday game. It really is. It's turned into an actual medium level game. Possibly even harder than that by the Guardian's reckoning. I'm looking at this block over here, this empty block. Damn. Oh, right, okay. Well, I was looking at that block over there and found it tough. So this block over here is likely to be more helpful. So the missing digits here and here are 2 and 7. So we know that 1 appears like this. Okay, you see the block, you see 1s intersecting like this. So we know 1s go there. Now we know 2s are here like this. 3s are still possible like this. 6s are here. 7s we know are like this. and 8s are here. Okay, so we have in these three squares 1, 6 and 8, which would make sense because okay, here you can see 1, 6 and 8, and here you can see 1, 6 and 8. So that means 1, 6 and 8 blocks these squares, 1, 6 and 8 blocks this square. So 1, 6 and 8 exist in these three squares only. Got that? 1, 3 and 6. Now that's useful first of all because the 3 means that these can't be 3, that has got to be 3 down there. But again, I'm going to look at it, get 1, 3 and 6. Now the 1 and the 6 are not that useful in looking up or down here, but they are very useful in finding this digit here, because we know that this can only be 2 or 7, and here we have 1, 3 or 6. So we know that 1, 6 or 8, sorry, 1, 6 or 8. So we know that this number here is not 1, 6 or 8, not 2 or 7. 1, 6, 8, 6, 7, 7. So what is it? 1, so 1, 2, okay, I've got to go back. I made a mistake. Sorry, I misspoke. But here's the beauty of Sudoku, right? If you realize you've made a mistake, before you go any further, you can repair itself. So here to beginners at Sudoku, you can fix the situation. But if you've gone a step or two away, you probably need to start again. But I made a silly mistake. I misspoke. This is 1, 6 or 8. This is 2 or 7. In fact, the 3 has to be in this square, not down here. I made a silly error there because I misspoke. I got my numbers jumbled up. So we know that the 3 is in that square, not down here. This is 1, 6 or 8, not 3 as I think I mistakenly said. So sorry about that. But there you go. See, Sudoku is not... it's still possible even if you make a mistake, as long as you realize you've made the mistake quickly. It's only if you don't realize you've made the mistake quickly that you're in trouble. Right, but this game is outrageously tough for a Tuesday, really. Very surprised. Now let's use the 3s and see where we're going with the 3s, shall we? Because that's our next digit and it's our way into this empty block over here. So 3 blocks across over here and 3 blocks down here. Okay, so 3 must be in one of these two squares here blocking up. 3 blocks across over here and over here. So finally we can get a digit in this desert land over here. Our first digit 3. Now 2 blocks this square and 2 blocks this square, but we don't have a 2 in this column, so we know the 2 has to go there. And now our 2, remember this was 2 and 7, so this now cannot be a 2. 2 goes there and 7 is in that square. Now we can use that 7 to block across, 7 blocking across here, 7 up here and 7 there. Now our 9 is finally coming useful. Here this blocks this square from being a 9, so we know the 9 must appear here, and the 8 will be in this square here now. Our 8 blocking down here puts an 8 into that square there, 8 blocks across here, so now we know this is the 8 and this is the 9, and it's all looking much better now. But you can see that mistakes are easy to make in Sudoku, especially when I'm talking and trying to speak as well as play the game, which I think also doesn't help. 3 is our last digit here, 3 blocks across here and down here. That will be our 3. 9 is our last number across this row, and 7 will be the last digit to place there. Right, okay, 7 also blocks this square up here, so that is the final 7 of the grid, and missing here is our 9, I think. Right. So where are we now? So we're still missing 6 and 9 up here, but we still don't know which is which. So we have to leave that for a while and maybe look at these sections down here. Now we are missing 1, 6 and 8. Actually, that's ingrained in my brain now after messing it up. I definitely know that's 1, 6 and 8. I still only see 1, 6, 8 in 3 different rows, so that can't help us to finish that section here. How about missing here? We're left with 4, 8 and 9, and now we can get something because 8 and 9 are in the same row. So this square can't be 8, can't be 9, must indeed be the other number, which will be a 4. And now with the 4 blocking up here and 4 blocking across here, we can say that that is a 4, just so. Now if we remember, this was 6 and 9, so this here has got to be 6 or 9, 2 in a block like this. So if you can have only 2 empty squares in a column or a row, it's got to be the same. So this means that this can't be a 9, this square can't be a 9 because of this, so it has to be a 6. The 9 will go there and the 6 will go there. Now our 6 is blocking across 2 of them. Now we can get the 6 there. Remember, this is 1, 6 and 8, so we've got the 8 blocking across here, so the 8 goes there and the 1 will fit there. And we have 1 blocking this way and this way, so 1 goes there. We have 1 number to complete this row. It looks to be a 9, I think. Okay, this 9 blocks over here, so that would be a 9. The last number to get here is a 5. And then the final digit here for the grid is an 8. So, well, if you are a beginner and you managed to solve that puzzle before coming here, well done, because I think that was much more difficult than the regular Tuesday puzzles. In fact, almost the level of hard, I think. It certainly wasn't an easy level game like they normally place and mislabel as medium on a Tuesday. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully I'll be back later with some other tough Sudoku from the New York Times and possibly the LA Times as well. Bye-bye.